Hey, my name is Dharanidharan Balasubramaniam. People call me Dharani. I work as an engineering manager with one of the big four bank in Australia on the Power Platform and AI solutions. Have you ever noticed how Go Live is often treated like a calendar event instead of the critical phases of delivery? Teams always spend months and months of time in designing, building, testing, and then the deployment readiness is squeezed into the last few days of the project. At Go Live is the moment when your solution stops being a project and starts becoming part of someone's daily job. Let me share a short story from one of my project. We had a system that passed UAT perfectly and all the test cases were green. Business has signed off and we went live on a Monday morning. Within the first few hours of Go Live, some users could not access the app and background flows, Power Automate were not triggering, and support teams, they did not know whether the system exists or not. And the business started questioning stability. Nothing major was broken, but everything felt broken for the project team. Not because of bad code, but because the organization was not ready for this one. Poor Go Live execution is one of the fastest ways to lose the user trust, and once the trust is gone, adoption drops, support cost increases, and stakeholders become cautious, and every future release becomes harder. You can have a great feature, strong architecture, but if the user experience chaos on day one, they will judge the entire platform by that moment. In the next few minutes, I will share the most important things to consider when preparing for a Go Live. The most common mistakes the team makes during the deployment and the tools and the practices that help Go Live smooth and predictable. If you ask me, what does ready really mean? Most teams says the code works, but true readiness includes technical, business, operational, change management, and also the ownership readiness. So let's start with the technical readiness. In the technical readiness, the managed solution packaged, pipelines tested, environment variables configured, security roles validated, and monitoring enabled. And these are all the technical readiness we always think of, and we need to make sure everything is ready in place for the production Go Live. And with respect to business readiness, the users should be informed about the change. What is the change they are going to get in the system? And we need to clearly explain the solution, the workflow to them. And if any guidance are available, any handbook, everything should be presentable to them. And we need to always set the expectations to the business before the Go Live. And with respect to support readiness, we always need to initiate the support activity like a support team trained or incident process defined or the escalation context known. If something breaks out, they should be aware of like whom they need to contact. And with respect to change readiness, the release communication email should send to the business properly what time system is going to be down and what is the total time we are spending for the production deployment and when they can start the system and what would be the impact during the production deployment. Everything we need to clearly call it off. Similarly, we need to clear the ownership after the Go Live. The delivery team, support team, business, everyone should be aware of the owner who is going to own this particular piece. Each and every production deployment, we need to treat it like a product launch. Have a clear cutover plan. We need to have the proper checklist, and if something goes wrong, we should have the proper rollback strategy, and on-call team should be available immediately like if something goes wrong, and we should have the go and no-go decision point as well. So these are all the readiness we need to be very planned for each and every production deployment. So I would like to call some of the mistakes. So thinking the technical success is equals to the business success. The system works, but the user cannot access it or they don't understand what is the new change that has been implemented as part of this current deployment. So this is one of the common mistake. And the second mistake is not involving the support team earlier. We always need to involve the support team earlier. Support learns after the go live and struggles with the tickets. And the third mistake is no rollback plan. In Power Platform, we always go with the managed solution. If something goes wrong, then we should have the proper rollback strategy to uninstall the solution so that the team won't waste the time in debating during these incidents. And no monitoring on the day one. The failures are discovered by the users. That is one of the biggest mistake. And fifth one is the overconfidence. The production behaves differently than the test environments. So that is the reason we can always expect last minute surprises. We should have a proper plan and we should have a proper strategy during the production hypercare as well. Let's see some of the tools which we can use it for the Power Platform deployments. One of the main thing is the CI/CD pipelines. People always do the managed deployments, but I always recommend to do the CI/CD pipelines and manage the solution, proper a source control, and all the environment variables needs to be updated properly, and everything needs to be done via service account so that the Power Automate and all the service connections, everything will be stayed with the service accounts. And with respect to readiness, we always need to have the proper go live checklist and cutover runbook, and we need to test the user accounts. Also need to validate whether all the test user accounts are having the proper licenses and all the validation scripts, everything should be proper. And with respect to the operations, we should have the proper monitoring dashboard. For example, if you are implementing any of the biggest AI solution, then you should have the proper observability and the explainability multi-tech dashboard so that people can see the alerts and they can go to look into the logging, and they can look into if they have the proper incident templates, and it would be really easy for the support team. And next is the key thing is the communication. So release notes should be there. We should always have the release notes templates, and each and every release we need to leverage the template and properly document the release notes and share it with all the stakeholders. And with all the stakeholders, email communication needs to be sent with the support documentation. The takeaway is manage the solution, and configuration should be complete, access should be tested properly, whether all the licenses and all the access is there for the service account, and business sign off. Support should be briefed to the support team and also to the business as well. We should have the proper rollback strategy. Monitoring should be enabled during the hypercare. Communication should be sent properly to all the business stakeholders and also to the support team, and ownership should be defined properly. Thank you for joining this episode of Mission Implementation. Over the years working on Dynamics 365 CE and Power Platform project, I have seen success depends on preparation, communication, and respecting the moment when the system becomes part of someone's daily work. So check out the rest of the Mission Implementation series for more best practices.